So, looking for the roots of the pernicious influence that has driven humanity into a exponentially growing cycle of incoherency and chaos. Hello and welcome. My name is Adam Lane, and this is the search for terrestrial intelligence. At the earliest stages in the dawn of civilization, a paradigm established that affected the motivation of production and progress. The motivation to design, the motivation to innovate, the motivation to create was fueled by this profit motive, to acquire more, to raise your status, your elevation in the stratification of society, because the value was put upon wealth. Not intelligence, not integrity, not honor, but wealth. And so this pernicious influence literally infected the consciousness of humanity and has been the engine that has driven civilization into the state it is in now. And so now we see the development of humanity is led by a profit motive. We have agriculture production that produces food with almost no nutritional value, even toxic. We have politicians and political systems that serve only the largest corporations and the super elite. We have military systems and weaponry that does more to endanger people than it does to protect them. When you look at the medical establishment, you find a medical establishment that treats disease instead of people. And if you look at the development of medicine, do you see them producing medicine that is the healthiest and the best for well-being? No, you don't. You see them producing medicine that is the best for business. So I don't see that as intelligence. And I see it as holding humanity back. That we should be much further along as a species. This has been what has driven my research and interest and study for many, many years. 35 years at least. It's looking at where we are as a species and how we got here, and what has driven humanity to this point in time. So I'm not really the kind of guy who wants to stand in front of the world and give a speech. I'm more the kind of guy who would rather just pour a nice glass of scotch and have a real conversation. So how about we take this back down to earth? That's better. search for terrestrial intelligence. What do I mean by that? One of the things you notice when you start researching and looking into intelligence, there's a large variation of opinion. And myself, I'm no different. I have my ideas on the topic. So what I like to say is that this is the way it looks to me from here. Meaning that I'm aware that this is my perception, my perspective, and that every single individual has their own perception, perspective. No two people on this planet can share the same. And I very well may be wrong. So there's that. I don't see an actual separation of intelligence and consciousness. I don't see that one begets the other or that one is dependent upon the other. I see them as intrinsically a part of a whole. Very similar to David Bohm's concept of the implicate order. I find Bohm's concept of the implicate order is just beautiful in its simplicity, and whether it is an actual provable theory of the nature of the unified field, well, I don't really care. I'm not a scientist. I think it's a beautiful explanation for how we experience consciousness and reality. We'll get more into that later. If you know Bohm's idea, he saw order as implicate, order throughout the universe, or I would say omniverse. So if the implicate order is the enfolded order of reality, the explicate order is the unfolded expression of that order. This is the way I see consciousness and intelligence. Consciousness is the implicate order. It is the unified field. It is a field phenomenon, and I think it is literally the unified field itself. In a sense, a consciousness and intelligence to all things is the unified field. This intelligent, living consciousness. And when that consciousness unfolds into the explicate order, it appears as intelligence. It unfolds into the manifest materium as intelligence. I'm sure there's going to be tons of people who disagree with this, and like I said, I don't know that I'm right, but this is the way it looks to me. Then again, I see intelligence in the unfolded explicate order of consciousness as a spectrum. So if consciousness is a field, if it is related to that unified field, then intelligence as a spectrum in the higher resolution would be expressing more of that connection. And then in the lower resolution, the more dense spectrum of intelligence, it becomes much more materialistic, and it becomes denser and more materialistic in its expression. And I don't mean this to be this is not a judgment of higher and lower intelligence, because I can see that a person with a really dense expression of the resolution, still very, very intelligent, a lot of mathematical understanding, mechanical understanding, a lot of the materialistic sciences, those that see the reductionists that see the body as a biological machine only. So what I'm saying is that intelligence reflects that spectrum as it experiences more contact, more connection, or unity with the field. When you look at the development of human intelligence, the intellect that is separate, that does not see its connection to all things, that is holding humanity back the most. There's no need for any consideration of impact when the only thing that matters is profit. So that intellect that experiences itself as separated from the rest of humanity, from the planet itself, from the rest of the animal kingdom, that doesn't have any problem raping the minerals out of the soil, burning down the rainforest to raise cattle. This intellect suffers from this impediment of separation. In my concept of the search for terrestrial intelligence, that is the intelligence that I'm searching for. That connected intelligence, the full spectrum intelligence, the consciousness of the pan-dimensional omniverse. That's what I'm seeking. So if that is interesting to you and you want to join me on my search, stay tuned. Do all those things. Whether you have the like button or the dislike button, you can express your influence upon. Somewhere there's a subscribe button. You can push that. There's a bell right next to it. You can push that too. Just push all the buttons. Thank you for coming. My name is Adam Lane, and this is the search for terrestrial intelligence.